All right.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Dr. Wayne, we all set?
Yes, sir. We live.
Okay, this is WJRG Radio, and this is a pandemic discussion this evening. We have our special guest, Ms. Patty Newton Foster. Dr. Wayne, you got to say something. I don't hear you right now.
Yes, I'm here, Jerry.
Dr. Wayne, I don't hear you, bro. Hold up. Dr. Wayne, you there?
Yep, we here.
Okay, I hear you now. Okay. All right.
Do you have your phone on? You got to turn your phone off, Jerry.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Everybody's all set. All right. We're live in WJRG studio, and also we're streaming live on Facebook. All right. And this is Dr. Wayne McCray along with Jerry Green, and we have Sister Patty Newton Foster, and this is Action First. And we come your way every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. And this is a broadcast. We just like to get information to put out there because we know we are going through some trying times in these difficult times in 2021. So I want to welcome the WJRG and also the Facebook Live. We have Ms. Patty Newton Foster. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you. And yourselves?
I'm doing good. God bless you today. Good to have you on WJRG and also just having you on Facebook Live along with Dr. Wayne McCray and Action First. Now, I understand you're a nurse's certified nurse's aide, right? Or
I am.
Am I saying it right?
Yes,
Okay.
I am certified nurse's aide. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how long have you been a certified nurse's aide?
I've been doing this business since about 1998. So many years.
Okay. Many years.
And,
okay.
Yes. Would you like me to elaborate on that?
I'm sorry?
No, I was asking if you wanted me to elaborate on that.
Yeah, go ahead. Elaborate, yes.
Oh, okay. So I started out as, a nurse's aide. My first job I landed at Yale New Haven Hospital.
Okay.
And I worked out of a resource pool, and as a CNA and as a unit secretary. When working out a resource pool, you worked on every single floor. You did not know what floor you were going to go in. And I tell you, before doing the home care agency, I really was thinking about opening up a hospital.
Wow. Okay. Opening up a hospital. All right. So you've been in for a while, and now what is it like, with this pandemic that's going on, which we know this virus, you got a lot of nurses out there, and I know your job is to send nurses out there, right?
Yes.
How difficult is it? Is it any, I mean, I know they're on the battlefield. Tell me what it's like every day sending nurses out, with this pandemic.
It's right now. Let me just stop and say the nursing business, people that care for people, it's the job, but it's something that it comes from your heart to be able to go wash up a client and take care of someone, that can't, change themselves or feed themselves. So this business, this nurse's assistant, really comes with TLC, tender loving care. And right now today, with the epidemic, a lot of clients, they're seniors, they're 65 and older, and they don't want anyone coming in their house because they don't know where you're coming from, what environment you came from to come into their homes. So a lot of the business, I would say, maybe 25 to 30% has declined in business because a lot of clients are declining aides coming in their homes. On the other hand, the aides that are working, they're kind of wondering, should they go into the client's home because they don't know, what the client what's going on in their homes. So it's kind of like a give and take with that situation. But the nurses' aides, well, now with the that unemployment, that $600 unemployment, they'd rather sit home and collect. But this is what the epidemic has done. A lot of people can be working, but they rather collect that $600 than go to work. But that's just a percentage, because then if that runs out and you left the job, suitable work, and man, I tell them all the time, if you quit, you cannot collect. If you get fired, and I hope everybody's listening to this, if you get fired, you can collect. Because as soon as you contact the unemployment, if they do their due diligence, they're going to contact and send the paperwork to the company. And they want to know what happened. Did they quit or did they get fired?
Right.
So if they were fired, then it's very hard. I got to put the dogs up because this is too much noise.
The same kind of dog I got.
Yeah, Sandy. Let's go.
Well, Dr. Wayne, since we're streaming live on Facebook, and you have to talk for a minute because this virus, has been going on a year now. I mean,
and
all the special guests that you're bringing in is very informational. Giving very informative. Giving a lot of good nuggets. Because we got to do something with this pandemic.
Yes, in the meanwhile, we need to keep spreading the knowledge, because and informing the people in this, putting light on it, because if, a lot of situations, we don't want them not knowing and what's out there and what's available in this process.
Right.
But and I'll pick back up. Even though there's a lot of aides that are working, and then there's aides that are not working, because they don't want to go into the homes, or the clients don't want them to come into the homes.
Right.
The business is still striving. This business is still doing well, because there are people who can't get out of bed. They're bedridden, so someone has to go in and get them up and take care of them. So that kind of keeps the business going, because a lot of people rather be home than be in a convalescent home, because there's no visits and the Rona and this type of thing. So home care agency will always be in existence.
Right.
People rather stay home than be in a facility.
Right. No, because to be honest, I have a sister, like I told you earlier before we got on the air, and she lives in South Carolina, and she does nurses aid and stuff like that, and she tested positive, from this virus. So is that common? A lot of nurses, are they testing positive? Because I know they're on the front line.
Right.
How difficult is it today to be in the nursing field, especially with this pandemic?
It's taking a big chance for me and my company. Thank God I have not had one aide come down with the virus. Okay. First of all, we give them equipment that should keep them secure. Okay. Actually, and I'm going to give a shout out to New Haven and Bridgeport health department. What they're doing is they're helping our agencies with the PPP supplies like gloves, masks, booties for your feet, gowns, hand sanitizer. So they're providing home care agencies with this equipment. It's called protective equipment, face shields, right. The N9 mask. So my people every 2 weeks get a supply because we pay every 2 weeks. My people get a supply to last them for 2 to 3 weeks with those supplies, with the gloves and the masks and the gowns and whatever protective equipment they need. We also will provide it for the client as well if they don't have masks, because everybody still need to be masked up.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm very fortunate. It's more like the hospitals and the convalescent homes, because they're in those buildings were built with no ventilation.
Okay.
So if somebody comes in there, they're going to get the disease. They're going to get a cold. They're going to get whatever is floating around in that air. It's called airborne. But when you go into somebody's home, it's kind of different. If no one's been in there and you clean the place and you Lysol the place and you wear your mask and you do your social distancing, but you can't do social distancing when you're giving your client a shower. So you have to be protected with the gear, with your gloves and your mask and your gowns. And so, yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, I mean, these are things that we need to know, especially those who has people like, for example, I have my father-in-law who lives in a senior citizen building. So those kind of people, even the ones who live in those kind of buildings, are very vulnerable, right? Because people always constantly coming in and out.
But then there's some senior housing, and we will speak on one, which is the Tower 1, Tower East. I have several clients in there, several employees working in there. And what they implemented is you cannot come. First of all, you have to be tested by them. They are the ones that's giving the test for the employees that come in, from the nursing to RNs, LPNs, social work, physical therapy, occupational therapy, home health aides, homemakers, companions. Every person that comes in that building to work must be tested every single week, and they test you. Right. Now they're offering the shot. So they're saying, okay, we're going to give you, the shot that you need to take, the 2 series, and all of it is free of cost, because any family members that come into that facility and to that senior housing must, and they should implement that in all of them. I don't think that it should just be downtown, the Jewish towers.
Yep.
It should be on Grand Avenue. It should be on Ferry Street. Anywhere you have in the neighborhood. Okay, It needs to be the same way. They should be able to have somebody come in and be able to test the aides, the family members, and the clients in the building to keep it down. Like I said, the ventilation, it's all in the air. It's what you breathe. That's why we're wearing masks.
Right.
What you breathe, if somebody cough and the germs go in you, then of course you're going to get the cold or you're going to get sick. So but there have been some clients that my employees went into, and their clients tested positive. And so, or the family member, and then everybody had to be quarantined and things of this nature. But so yeah, it's definitely out there. It's real.
Okay, let's talk about this vaccination, this vaccine that's that they're giving us, and I know if you're 65 and older, they want the older people to get the vaccine. What is your thoughts? How do you feel about that, being a nurse's aide and being in that field? How do you feel about the vaccine? Be honest about it. Do you think, I know they got side effects How do you feel about the vaccine that the government and the medical staff is giving us?
Okay, I don't agree with the vaccine at this time, only because I know that research on something this huge takes a long time, years and years and years. And the president pulled this thing together, and it's just, they don't, I will say this, I will not take it. There's people that says, okay, I'd rather take it, but then they're talking about how good the vaccine is, but they're not one time do you hear on the news or any media saying any side effects. There's a side effect to any kind of medication you take. Only side effect I heard was the arm being sore. And then I've heard about people getting cold sweats and hot sweats and, going through that, almost like they took the vaccine and they became like they had a cold, and they're shivering, they're hot, they're warm and things, and they're sweaty, and then it goes away. I've heard that, but I haven't really heard, and they're not really telling us the side effects, the bad side effects that come along with this.
Okay. Now, is any side effects that you heard of? I mean, we know that people, when you get a needle, they get a sore arm. Is there any other side effects? Have you heard of?
I heard somebody's tongue fell out, but I heard somebody's tongue fell out and it was over to the side. They couldn't put it back in. I don't know how true that is, but I did hear that.
Okay, Dr. Wayne, you got any questions you want to ask?
Yeah.
First of all, let me just say this is Action First. We're broadcasting live on WJRG radio, and we have our special guest. She's a certified nursing aide, Sister Patty Newton Foster. She's broadcasting with us this evening, and also Dr. Wayne McCray from Action First. You got it, Doc.
All right. Yeah, one thing, Patty, because I know you also do phlebotomy, and some of the things that we've been looking at, because we know that the virus and the vaccine, it's a form that it triggers the body to respond to it in a way that it is the COVID, the way that the antibodies can develop within the body to fight it off and to ward it off. But some of the things that we've been looking at and seeing that with the platelets, can you talk about some of the things with the platelets? Because with the red cells and the white cells and the plasmas, because the platelets are forms of where that it causes a blood clot. If someone has a wound, a scar, or something, and then how it heals, because the body heals itself, it causes those platelets to react to that wound to heal it. But with this COVID and there's things that they've been saying that some people that have passed away, and when they did the autopsies, they were looking at what the problems, and it was their underlying issues. And a lot of them, there was like blood clots in the lungs and stuff like that. So, those clots are platelets. And so it's a respond in a different way because of the blood type. So that's a key thing that I see that people really need to address and look at. And then before taking the vaccines, know your blood type and all those things, and do a little more research on that, on the vaccine, because that's one of the main things where with the platelets. So
I understand what you're saying, because when they inject that needle in their arm, that means that it's going in their system. And if you're this blood type or that blood type, how is that going to gel together?
Right.
So it makes sense to know the blood type. They're giving injections. I don't think they're that deep, but you're putting a program together to address this.
Right.
Correct? You're putting a program together that people will be able to, number one, know their blood type, because there's so many people who don't know their blood type. Everybody should know their blood type.
Right. And that's important now. That's very important now.
Yes, it is. Yes, I agree that I felt, and I feel that there should have been a heck of a lot more research done before folks start taking something that was put together overnight. To me, overnight, because it was not. It takes years for Pfizer and Bayer and all of these people to put something together. No one is talking about side effects. What are the side effects? What if you get this needle and then your blood type doesn't agree? I know everybody's not just happy-go-lucky on this thing. They're just not talking about it.
Right. And seeing that's one of the issues, because certain blood types, they can't mix. Say O positive, you can't mix B positive with O positive. And so what that causes the body to respond in a different way, where that then it caused the underlying issues to take charge. And that's how people immune system breaks down, where that things that to being able to strengthen it, and then there's a holistic approach, and that's something that we're really trying to push forward as well too, because like you said, with this strand, they don't really know how it's going to affect, and different type. There was a doctor in Florida that took the second vaccine, and he passed away. He had a brain aneurysm, but they were saying that it wasn't due to the vaccine, but he had some other things going on in his body that he wasn't aware of, and some of those things it triggered. They say that the antibodies, it's like soldiers in the body. It's like they get on alert to fight off anything that's trying to come against the body in that way. But the vaccine, if what's in the vaccine is the concerns, and if it has been tainted with that, that's another issue. Some it could leave one location, proper, and uncontaminated, and then by the time it get to its destination, it could be contaminated. And then some of the vaccines, they have to, after a certain amount of time, they have to, use it then. If after that,
go bad.
Just like our bread, for example, when our bread, after a certain date, after that date, it's no good.
Turns green.
It's not molding, and you got all kinds of stuff going on. So that's the concerns, and so knowing that but I hear that the military are supposed to start setting up the vaccine sites, and I think that's a more solid situation where that things will be handled properly, because they have to they have their chain of authority and their chain of command, and they honor that, and I think that's might be one of the safest things. But I don't believe, if you are already negative, you're negative. You're not at risk or at harm. So I don't think that anyone needs to take the vaccine if you've been tested negative. That's just
one question. What I don't get is 65 and older can get the vaccine. Okay. What about people 30 and now children? And so I don't kill the messenger, but if it's not working, what if that population gets knocked off? 65 and older gets knocked off, right?
Yeah.
Are they, because when you got to go back to when they did it to the Tuskegee, when they gave up the black people that medicine, and it was a test and it was killing them. Remember that with the men? Okay. So my thing is, the corona's killing children. It's killing 16-year-olds, 15, 30, 35. You're going to pick a number of 65 to get the test, and then, wait a minute. We're gonna give it to the politicians first in Washington, make sure they good, and then we're gonna go into our hospitals and give it to the doctors and the nurses, whatever ages they are. They're good because they're on the front line. I get it, but Where did the 65 come from?
Right.
65 years old to get the test first?
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question. What does the vaccine really do, though? What is the purpose? What does it really do? I mean,
I don't know, because you need 2 series. You need 2 series. And what if they don't get the second series in time enough? Like you said, they said that they was bringing the vaccine someplace, and it was some storm or something. They had to go and they was trying to get someplace, but it was going to be too late, that it wasn't going to be any good. So wherever that location that they were at, they went into that city or town and gave the vaccine out so they didn't have to throw it away.
Okay.
Did you hear that one?
Yeah.
Because you said it's a time period.
Right.
It's a time period that you got to get that vaccine. So, like, I don't know. I don't get it. You taking it? Are you taking a vaccine, Wayne?
No.
Are you taking it?
I haven't took it yet. I haven't decided yet. I haven't even decided yet, to be honest. You know, because I haven't. I know people that tested positive. I really never even thought too much about it. I'm not even fearful of it, but the fact that if they offer it to me, but my concern, like my wife, she has diabetes, and you got some people that has medical issues. I'm more concerned about them, because I don't want someone that has medical issues. I want to find out a little more myself about this vaccine, all right? Because other people got medical issues as well. So that's what I'm asking. What does it actually do? And if people do have medical issues, is it okay for them to to take this vaccine?
But people taking the vaccine, they died from the corona. So are you telling me that the vaccine is 100? It's not.
No,
People, you cannot tell me that people that have taken a vaccine has not passed away.
Okay.
Over corona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see, what one of the things is the key to it is the blood types, and that's where there has to be more research, I feel, because when we look at the numbers, and I don't want to get too much in that, but it's really where the population, and the high numbers are African American and Hispanic and Latinos, where that we're more at risk for the underlying issues,
Okay.
So having high blood pressure, any
Diabetes,
blood diabetes,
right.
So those are the things. And then once they take the vaccine, because it's not proven to or knowing how it's affecting, it's not really a solid study on it yet. So I have concerns. That's why, and I tested negative. So I feel as though if you've been tested negative from the virus, why take the vaccine?
Why take the medicine? Right.
Yeah.
Oh, they want to give you the vaccine because they don't want you to get positive. It's supposed to fight the virus off, right? I mean,
right.
That's
but what it is, it's just like a message. It's sending a message to the body. But I know people that have taken it that were negative, and then when they took it, they tested positive. So then they have to get down and quarantine and all those things. And so but and then we share the other information. I'm gonna still post that information from Commissioner Greg Smith.
Why are you doing that, Mr. Patty? Have you heard that a lot too? That people that took the vaccine tested positive after taking the vaccine?
Yes, I have. But what Wayne just said about the Afro-American people being the last to get anything, did you see where when it first hit, and the nurses, the white nurses, were crying on Facebook and other social media saying that they literally watched the doctors and the nurses in a hospital allow the black people to die, just literally did not help them. Like, it's just, they were saying, one said she went in and one doctor was doing some compressions on the patient who was Afro-American, and this lady was literally crying. And nurses, I've seen it, several of them crying, saying, well, she said, what are you doing? Why are you're going to kill this man? And the next thing you knew, the man died on the table in front of her. She said, I literally watched this doctor kill this Afro-American. They walk past them like they're not even laying in the bed. Okay. And they go to the white folks and things of this nature that's happening in the hospitals. So this was literally, and I was just crying because I'm like, wow, that could have been my dad or my mom or my son.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Well, like I said, this is something new, but then again, they got to be honest with you, the problem to the whole thing is this virus. That's the root of the problem. They got to find a cure for this. They got to do something about the virus, because all this other stuff is just a little Band-Aid that they're putting on, or trying to, trying to help people. They're trying their best to help people, but they got to come up with something for this virus. The heat is not doing it. The cold weather is not doing it. So they got to find what's behind this virus, and they got to cure the virus. That's the bottom line.
Stay home, stay safe. Stay home, stay safe is what I say, because these crowds of people, you see when they look at what the president did and how all of those people were not wearing masks, and he even caught it. He even caught it. And was our taxpayers' money airborne him over, flying him over to the hospital. But I know that
you mean you're talking about Trump, right? When Trump was
And so the bottom line is, for Thanksgiving, when they said, we get down at Thanksgiving, we cook a lot of food and have family over and we have a good time. When they said, do not have anyone in your home for Thanksgiving, these are measures that the only way we're going to be safe. And there's some things. I deal with a lot of nurses. And one is, you're supposed to take some lemon and put it in a pot, cut it, put it in a pot, boil it, and breathe it. Breathe it up your nose, because the virus is in your nose, and it goes in your nose and in your mouth. And it goes down into your system. There's another one: tea, honey, lemon, baking soda, and something else. But there's things that you can drink, and you know about it, Brother Wayne. Things that you can drink that will help you clear your immune system. Staying home. Not having a bunch of people around you. They even said now, recently, if you're in a car with someone that's not your family, you need to wear a mask and stay far apart from it. See, everybody's still used to hugging and kissing, and now we're giving elbow and dap. You don't even need to be doing that. You really need to stay home, stay safe, and that's the only way for us to stay alive and kick this virus. I don't believe in taking those shots. Thank God I have not been sick, but I don't put myself out on front line. If I do, I wear 2 masks. I wear gloves. Let me just say this for everybody. When you go to the grocery store, you bring you some throwaway gloves, because the germs is picked up on the handle of that cart because there's so many people using it. And the other thing is the gas pump. You need to wear gloves when you pump your gas. These things cut down you, and washing your hands every time you can get to some soap and water. These things, using Lysol and bleach down your place and things like this, will kill that germ.
Okay.
Those are the things that's going to help us stay alive. Lysol, bleach.
That's great information. Great information. That's great information. Really. I mean, I was guilty of that this morning. I pumped gas. I didn't have no glove on. All right. I pumped the gas. I was in a rush.
15, 20, 30, 40, 50 people pump that gas that day. Okay. I don't know. And then some of them folks out there, I'm not going to call no racist, but some of them folks out there walk around like there's nothing going on, like Trump.
Right.
Okay. So they, whatever they got, they're hoping that one of us get it.
Right.
Right behind you.
You're talking right. You're talking right. We're speaking live with Sister Patty Newton Foster. She's a certified nursing aide, and she's giving us information about this pandemic. Take heed, like the Bible says, because, I'm just glad when they either find not so much a cure for this virus. I mean, just, let's get rid of this virus, because, a lot of people, they get tired of it too. I mean, social distance, you got everything you're saying we got to do. We got to keep doing it. We got to stay safe.
Keep our family safe. Yeah.
Well, I feel that, a lot of it is control too,
It is.
It's a lot of it is just control.
Yeah. Flying, going to stay in these hotels. Hotels use the same sheets. They wash them all together. Like even in the convalescent homes, when I tell a lot of my clients that go in a convalescent home, have your family go buy you some sheets for that bed, blanket, do not allow them to send your clothes down to the laundry, because there's one laundry room in the facility and they wash everybody's clothes together.
Wow.
There's people that urinate and poop on those sheets. Everything goes together, and then they give it to the different floors. So that's why the convalescent homes were so bad, because the germ kept germing itself.
Right.
There was no way for the germ to go away. So that's why the convalescent homes were hit so bad, because there was no ventilation. Somebody came from the outside, or somebody caught pneumonia, or somebody, caught the virus. It spread it so fast that they were dying by the numbers, until somebody said, till the Department of Public Health came in and said, okay, now we're going to find you and you need to take all that money. You know how much money they make? They make a lot of money.
That's right.
They make a lot of money. They take your money if you own a home and you have insurance, Medicare, and Medicare runs out, but you pay for Medicare all your life, but you go to the hospital and they tell you to go to rehab, and rehab says, oh, your insurance says that we're not going to pay no more for you. So therefore you have to either pay or you got to go home. But now if you can't go home and you own a home, they're coming for your home and they're coming for the money in the bank. Okay, this is a true story. I go to different churches. I brought some church fans with the business on it for my advertisement when I go in there. But I go into different churches to tell everyone, but basically our people, that yes, you worked hard, you bought your home. Yeah, you paid into Medicare for all of these years. But I'm here to tell you that if you don't take that house out your name and put into one of your family members' name, or your children or your grandchildren at a certain time, and take the money out the bank, you could do what James Brown did, put the money in a jar and bury it in your yard. I don't care. Just get rid of it so it's not in the bank, so that now when you get sick, and it happens, when you get sick, you go to the hospital and they say, oh, because the hospitals go with the convalescent home, they go hand in hand. Oh, you need rehab. Oh, you need therapy. You need this. We're going to send you over there for a month or so. But if you're really sick, and they figure, well, you know what? Anybody with Medicare had a job. Most of them have a house. The majority of them have $1.50 in the bank. They coming for it. They're going to take it because they're going to deem you not able to go home and take care of yourself. And you need to do long-term now with short-term, but it's long-term. So then what they do is they go into your finances. And the only way to get on Title 19, and all the state and everything works together. I tell our people, when the other folks was doing it and they got sick and they put everything into the kid's name, grandkids' name, it wasn't a problem. But when other folks got hip to it and they start doing it, now they go back 7 to 8 years in your finances and see what you have, because now all of a sudden you sick and you took the money out. Oh no, you had this 2 years ago, and where's the money? So that's what they do to us.
Right.
Now I tell everybody, when you get a certain age and you feel like, okay, I've been in the hospital a couple of times, or I may need to just take a look at this now. And before you get sick and need it, go to Title 19. Get rid of that stuff. And guess what? Title 19 people get 24-hour care and they don't pay nothing. You're going to pay everything to get somebody to come in and take care of your loved ones. They're going to exhaust you. You're going to have to sell the house. You're going to, so I'm just saying, beat them at their own game. We need to learn how not the system use us, but we use the system, because the system has used us long enough. And we need to know anybody that owns a home that's getting up in age need to figure out what they're going to do and where they're going to, who's going to take care of them. Okay. And so that means that if you own a home, I'll say it again, and I can't say it, but I'll say it 100 times until everybody get it. If you own your home and say you're going to the hospital frequently, you have to think about, before before you got to think in advance now. Before you get sick, you need to settle those things. And it's nothing wrong in doing that because number one, your house and your bank money may outlive you. So then you stuck in a facility when you worked all your life and Medicare is saying they're only going to pay out because you never use this and you paid in for 30 years and now you can only be in a convalescent home for 60 days or rehab for 60 days. And then they said, oh, well, you're going to have to start paying for this because the insurance will not pay for you no more. So there goes, oh, we'll sell your house. We'll sell your house for you. We'll spend down. Called spend down. Oh, we'll spend down your money. And guess what? Put you on either Title 19, which is not enough. So what they do is if you have Social Security, they get the Social Security money, put you on Title 19, that's going to pay for you to stay in a facility. And then they give you $60 a month, $75 a month to go in your account to buy you some slippers or a house coat or something.
Wow.
This is fact.
Yeah.
This is fact. You hear me?
Well, I got a question for you, Patty. Now, if anybody, is great information because I'm ready to retire myself. So you telling me things that got my mind working. What's your contact information if someone wants to get a hold of you because you are a certified nurse's aide and you're a CEO as well.
Okay. My information, you can reach me at Newton Foster Home Care Agency. I'm in 2 locations. I have two agencies. I have 2 home care agencies, one downtown, 157 Church Street, next door to City Hall in the Federal Building on the 19th floor. That's the home care agency. Then in Bridgeport, I have a home care agency, 75 Middle Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut. And then that's the training center, and that training center does EKG, phlebotomy, and CNA. And then we have the agency there. And then I have the CNA training at Central High School in Bridgeport in adult ed. So I have the 2 agencies and the 2 training centers. I just completed my book, From CNA to CEO, My Story. I'm writing 9 more books because I want, and the book is, I just want to say that, I come from Bridgeport. I come from the hard streets. Okay. But I turned my life around. I was pregnant at 15 and had my son at 16. My son is the vice president. And I will say this. I did that one time. Okay. It hurt so bad. I did not have any more kids. So giving birth is no joke. This was in 1975 when my son was born. So now we're 2 peas in the pot. He is totally the backbone of the company. He does all the payroll, and we have about maybe 20 people working now. Listen, I've had 200, 300 W-2s go out at the end of the year. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of things, but right now my goal is this particular book, From CNA to CEO, My Story, and to show other folks how to own and operate their own company from their home. I say to us, and I mean our people, Black, we're all Afro-American, and Black lives matter. All lives matter. But right now, Black lives matter for what they're putting us through. Okay, so what I'm doing now is with the book, I want to do an entrepreneurship. I'm working out with something with Wayne, and we want to do 3 homes. And Wayne, they asked me what was the name when I talked to them about this nonprofit. And I said, well, I don't have a name yet. And I just happened to be riding by Yale, and I seen somebody's name, and it was their house. So I would like to do the 3 homes to bring women from prison to with children in a halfway house for men and women. And then I want to do something for the veterans, homeless vets. So I'm going to start this nonprofit and work on that. With this particular book, if the epidemic goes down, trust and believe, I am going to fly over to Atlanta. They said Tyler Perry lived in his car for a little while. Well, I'm going to sleep on his lot for at least 2 or 3 days until he come out and take my book and make it a movie. So I tell everybody, come play your part. I can't pay for your ticket to Atlanta, but if you can get to Atlanta, I'm going to tell Tyler, we don't need none of your people. My people coming to play their own part in this movie.
There you go. You talking right. You talking
okay?
right.
Okay.
I got a little history with Tyler Perry too, but we'll get into that. But okay, I got another question for you. Now, could you brought up Medicare? If someone, what is the difference with the Plan A and the Plan B? I know you said they'll come after you.
They change it too much. They change it too much. So there is a Plan A and a Plan B. I don't care if it's a Plan Z. That it's all the same. It's Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare, you worked and you gonna use. They're gonna give you your insurance for a very short period of time, and you haven't even. What bothers me is you paid into this for 20, 30 years. You didn't use it. You went to the doctors here and there, but you got a condition now. You got to go into the rehab, and rehab says, "Oh, okay, well, we're gonna keep you here as long as the insurance is paying for you."
Right.
But then when that insurance run out, they're gonna come knock on your door and say, "Sir, ma'am, your insurance ran out on this, and they already know your finances. They already know that you have a house. They don't know how much money you have in a bank at that time, but they know that the Plan A is that you have the house. So that, trust and believe me, it happens all the time. Where they're going to. So Title 19, I'm sorry to say, folks that kind of hung out, didn't do too much, they have everything. And now money follows the person. If you on Title 19, check this out. If you on Title 19, and I have a home care agency, and the state DSS, Department of Social Services, they call you, they give us jobs. New Haven is called the Agency on Aging, and then Bridgeport is called SWACA. I'm registered with both. So they will, Medicare people, some of those folks have to actually pay a few dollars with the insurance that they have for these called access agencies. But if you're on Title 19, you don't pay for nothing. You get everything.
So this Title 19,
that's state.
Who's qualified to get on that? Anybody?
Anybody that's 65, well, anybody could be on Title 19. Most women on welfare is on Title 19, so it doesn't call for an age. You don't have a job, you're not working, you have children, food stamps, the whole 9 yards. In order enough for a working person to get on Title 19, they can't have any money in a bank. They can have maybe $1,200, $1,500. They can't own any property.
Okay.
That's the key. You
so
can't
even if a person retire, let's say if a person retired, they can't get on it, but they can't own a house.
Own any property. No,
not if you have.
Okay.
That's why I said
somebody's name.
You got to get it out your name, family name, grandkids' name. You're not selling your house, but you know what I found when I go to the churches? Black folk, man, I ain't putting my house in his house, in his name. He gonna take my house. Stuff like this. We got to get back to trusting one another because we've been taught in slavery not to trust one another. That's why we are so divided. Okay, so we got to get out of that mentality. I was telling the vice president of Yale, Kevin Meyer, the other day, that if we just can stick together, if we own the couple of banks, if we own grocery stores, we can wipe some other people out. We have our own laundromats. We have our own cleaners. 2 or 3 banks pool our money. Black Lives Matter, come together, and then we cannot have to worry about any of this stuff. But now my motto is, you want to work for somebody, you better start your own company. You better do your own thing. Because
I'll tell you, and that's going to be another show right there, Dr. Wayne.
Yes.
I've been preaching this message for years. That's why even with this radio station I have, it's a different platform that we're trying to get people to understand. I mean, it's time, like James Brown said, open up the door, I'll get it myself.
Exactly.
I don't want that. Like James Brown said that song. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door, I'll get it myself. And that's how we got to have that mentality. But, but until we, receive it and believe it, we got to believe in ourselves that we can make it happen. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit. I know you're a member of the Dixwell Congregation Church, right? And this is the oldest church in New Haven.
Oldest historical church, and I heard in the world, but it's in the United States. Dixwell Congregation is on Dixwell Avenue,
right?
And
Right.
Our pastor is the Dr. Reverend Streets, which we come from a line of pastors.
Okay.
It goes back to the Amistad,
Right.
and with the slaves, and it was actually down on the green, church on the green. Where this kind of originated, where the white folks was downstairs and the slaves was upstairs. They didn't let them come downstairs, but they let them be up there, and they somehow was able to move over to Dixwell Avenue. And if you come to our church, you will see on our walls from years and years and years ago, 1800s, 1900s, the slaves that were pastored there, and they came over on an Amistad boat. And I'll never forget, Mystic. I was there when they blessed the wood to make the Amistad boat.
Right.
It wasn't even made. Our church was a major part of that.
Okay.
And so I was there for they had the wood, the blessing of the wood to make that Amistad boat. There's some history there. Okay. There's some history at Dixwell. So yeah, but we're not going to the public.
You have any other questions for Sister Patty? I know it's getting kind of late. It's 6:53. Any questions?
Yeah, well, I know you're very instrumental. See, a lot of times, and I want to thank you for sharing, because you touched on some things, because my grandparents kind of went through that same thing. They worked hard all their life,
right?
And when they retired, they moved south and bought their dream house. But because in the South, it's a little different up here than down there. And they had those issues where we had to, sell their house down there and bring them back here, because their underlying issues, their medical health started deteriorating. And so it got so real costly, so it was hard for them to, to survive down there. And then, and it's sad that, when people work hard all their life, and then when their bodies start to break down, and the physical part of it, they can't enjoy their retirement.
Right.
And so even now we see that this system and COVID and seeing, when you were saying about how with the older people that are taking the vaccines, it's there's a lot of concerns and questions, but that we being a people of faith and in God, God is the one that keeps us, and he gives us discernment.
Yes.
So, that's why we have to continue to discern. And I know that your heart is right in trying to help the people. One thing I just want to say before we get ready to close out, and give you an opportunity to share your motto. And I got it on the ticker there. It says, serving our clients with tender love and care. And that's what the world needs. That's why we serve. And see, a lot of us, I'm a preacher, a teacher, but God, the body of Christ, we have to utilize the full body, the giftings in the body. Amen. And God has gifted you in that area of serving the community, and also, caring for your patients, those and I know this history, and your husband, he was a mentor of mine, and a lot of things that I understand that it helped me to develop more patience, because we have to understand in our era and our time to lead, and those that paved the way. And it was very instrumental. And they had the John Daniel School built there on Congress Avenue. And we know how Congress Avenue was about 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And it has transformed. And that process didn't happen overnight. So, and I sat beside your husband, and I learned, he was a mentor to me, to being able to understand the struggle, and that it's not going to happen overnight, but we still have to be patient and due diligence. And so now, understanding now in this time, in this season, that we have to develop more patience as well, as we continue going forward and helping our people along the way, because we have to continue to put light on the situations.
Amen.
And love is the main thing. Amen.
That's right. You got to walk in love, brother.
Amen. Amen. So at this time, I want to thank y'all.
Amen.
I want to thank y'all. This was very good. My heart is full. My heart is full, and you know, I truly want to thank y'all for taking action first today, because this is what it takes. And you shed some light on things, you know, to help the people to understand and to be real, because we are in a real crisis right now.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
We are in a real crisis, and the people, we talk about real, no real, but it's time that we have to, like you said, really come together in a mature mindset as we take action first. Amen.
Amen. Well, I want to say we got to get her back on the air again, because that's very informative to a lot of people, what you just said. And, you know, and I want people to share this on Facebook. And also, we're going to talk about the entrepreneurship as well. You know, I mean, because Blacks, we need education. The Bible says that we are destroyed because of lack of knowledge.
Right.
And sometimes faith comes by hearing. The more people hear things, you know, just come together. That's all. We got to come together as people. We got to come together. All right, Dr. Wayne, it's all yours. Action first. How you want to do it?
Well, listen, I want to thank y'all for taking action first today. So can y'all say that with me?
Yes.
Action first.
All right, my brother. All right, God bless everybody.
God bless. Good night.
All right, WJRG. All right, your favorite choice for gospel music. All right, Dr. Wayne, God bless. All right, y'all.
Awesome.
Amen.